Have you ever seen a white fly? No, not that white butterfly. This is a white fly. It is a plant louse that lives on the undersides of leaves and sucks the sap out of plants. It also excretes a sticky substance called honeydew that can so easily lead to the growth of sooty mold, which stunts plant growth. They can also transmit diseases to plants, causing leaves to curl, resulting in plant death. Whiteflies are a serious threat to our food supply. One of the best natural predators of whiteflies is the ladybug. Ladybugs are in every single continent on Earth. There are over 5,000 different species of ladybugs. They come in all different shapes, sizes, and colors. Some are even black or orange, but most ladybugs are red with black spots. The name ladybug comes from the fact that they are often seen flying around in large groups during the day. Ladybugs are known as beneficial insects because they do us humans a huge favor by eating huge amounts of pests like whiteflies, aphids, mealybugs, mites, small caterpillars, and even other ladybugs. An adult ladybug can eat 5,000 whiteflies per day. A ladybug colony can completely wipe out a whitefly infestation in no time. And to think we humans used to spray dangerous pesticides on our crops to kill these pests. Now we just need to attract some ladybugs. In this video, I'll show you how you can make your own ladybug hotel to help control the whitefly population. You'll be helping the ladybugs help you grow more food. Before we get started, please take a moment to support the channel. Alright, let's get started. For this project, you'll need 3 things: twigs, leaves, and evergreen branches. Go outside and collect some twigs and leaves from the ground. Look for twigs that have lots of holes in them, and make sure you collect both green and dried up leaves. The more holes in the twigs, the better. Take a look at this one. It's perfect. Here's another good one. This leaf has tons of holes in it. Now, we are going to head out into the woods and find an evergreen branch that has lots of little buds on it. Ladybugs love to hibernate during the winter in these little buds. If you don't live near any pine trees, you can always just scrape some bark off of a log and that will work just fine. Now let's go find ours. Look at this one. This will work perfectly. Take the twig, place it in the middle of the leaves, and roll it all up. Tightly secure the bundle with some twine. Place the bundles on the ground or propped up against something like a tree or a fence post. Face one side of the bundle towards the sun, and then repeat the process with the rest of the twigs and leaves. If you have a green leaf bundle facing the sun and a dried up leaf bundle facing away from the sun, you've created the perfect microclimate for ladybugs to lay their eggs and hibernate during the winter. Ladybugs are cold-blooded, so they need the sun to warm them up so they can get their day started. They spend the night in the dried leaves, which are full of little nooks and crannies for them to hide in. The bundles will also protect the ladybugs from predators like birds and frogs. And they'll stay nice and cozy until spring. When it starts to warm up outside, the ladybugs will emerge from their cozy beds and fly off to find some plants to lay their eggs on. Ladybugs typically lay their eggs on the underside of leaves, and they prefer plants that are in the nightshade family, such as tomatoes, peppers, potatoes, and eggplants. They also like milkweed, dill, fennel, coriander, oregano, thyme, and chamomile. So now you know exactly where to find the ladybugs in the spring. You can also make your garden even more attractive to ladybugs by planting the following: cosmos, feverfew, yarrow, tansy, snapdragon, zinnias, alyssum, buckwheat, borage, hollyhocks, sweet pea, phlox, Shasta daisies, marigolds, sunflowers, parsley, coriander, dill, chives, oregano, mint, basil, thyme, rosemary, and lavender. To keep the ladybugs coming back, you want to have a constant supply of flowering plants that produce nectar and pollen. Make sure you plant a variety of plants that flower at different times throughout the year to provide a continuous supply of food for the ladybugs. Don't forget to leave some of your plants to flower wild and go to seed. This provides additional food sources for the ladybugs. As you can see, ladybugs need flowering plants to survive, and those flowering plants need the ladybugs to survive. It's a win-win situation. Just remember to avoid using pesticides and herbicides. These chemicals will kill the ladybugs along with the pests, and if you're worried about your plants being attacked by pests, just remember there are over 60,000 different species of predatory insects, mites, and microbes that attack pests, and ladybugs are only one of them. We can help these beneficial organisms out by making insect hotels. I showed you how to make one out of bamboo in this video. Be sure to check it out after this one. There are also things you can do to attract birds and frogs. Birds and frogs eat the pests too, and they're also very easy to attract. In fact, you can turn your yard into a wildlife oasis by providing food, water, and shelter. I made a video about that too. Check it out. The ladybirds are just one example of how nature is always trying to get itself back into balance. When we interfere with nature's balance, like when we introduce a non-native pest like the whitefly, nature tries to find a way to get rid of it. That is why we see the emergence of new predators that feed on the pests like the ladybug did with the whitefly. We humans tend to be very impatient, but nature takes its time. For example, the codling moth had been a major problem for apple growers since the 1800s. Growers tried everything to get rid of it, including spraying barrels of sulfur on their trees. Nothing worked. Finally, in the early 1900s, the USDA introduced a parasitic wasp that laid its eggs inside of the codling moth larvae. It took several years, but eventually the codling moth populations began to decrease, and the apple growers could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Another great example is the brown marmorated stink bug. This insect is native to Asia. It feeds on the sap of fruits, vegetables, and grains. It's considered a serious pest. In 2004, it was found for the first time in Pennsylvania. Since then, it's spread across much of the eastern United States. It's been found as far south as Florida and as far west as California. The stink bugs are thought to have arrived in the U.S. via cargo ships carrying goods from Asia. Not long after the stink bug arrived in the U.S., a parasitic wasp followed close behind. It's believed the wasp also arrived in the same cargo ships that brought the stink bugs. There were only a few reports of this wasp in the U.S. until recently, but today, there are hundreds of reports every year. The parasitic wasp lays its eggs inside of the stink bug larvae. When the eggs hatch, they feed on the stink bug, slowly killing it. It is just a matter of time before this wasp completely gets rid of the brown marmorated stink bug. So the lesson here is to never interfere with nature's balance. If we could just leave nature alone, it would take care of itself. But we can still do our part to help nature along by attracting beneficial insects, birds, and animals to our yards and gardens. So next time you see a ladybug, don't just think of it as a pretty little insect. Think of it as a tiny little warrior that's helping us fight the war against pests. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please take a moment to support the channel. Also be sure to check out the links below. Alright, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you learned something new. Have a wonderful day. Bye.